it's not what others say about you, it's what you say about you that basically poisons you.
Yeah.
That's what holds you back.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, and not just what you say about you, but what you believe.
Yeah.
Right? Because we all have thoughts.
Yeah.
Like crazy thoughts that come into our head,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's the danger. It's dangerous. It's okay to think thoughts. The danger is believing it.
What he's going to be doing today is he's going to share his stories of trials and success with us. So I appreciate you being here today.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for coming up.
Yeah, and so you're the owner of Foreclosures and the founder of Flipping on Demand.
Correct.
And we met 2 months ago at the Impact Players Tour in Phoenix,
Yeah.
right? And you're gonna, for everybody who's interested, you're gonna be doing another one in LA. And
Yeah.
when is it? November what?
November 10th in Los Angeles at the Wiltern Theater with Ed Milet.
With Ed Milet, yeah. So anyone who's interested, go to www.impactplayerstour.com and you can get more information. You can see DJ live. I know Joel's gonna like this little part of it.
Hey, and you think that last was a good dance? Wait for this one. I got some cool shit I'm coming out with.
I'm glad you brought that up because for the YouTube, I'm actually gonna cut a snippet of you dancing. So everybody wait for that, okay? But yeah, so you have this huge backstory that you told at the event.
Yeah.
And it went from everything. Can you share some of that with us right now?
Yeah. So as kind of like I shared at the event, because sometimes people see somebody, they hear them, see them on stage, and it's like I could never do that, right? I don't know, right? It's all fear. Like I don't know if I could ever achieve what they achieve.
Yeah.
But what they don't know, and that's what I like to share because the mess in life, and so like my mess was grew up very loving family. I'll start with that, like very loving family. My mom, my grandparents, my brother's 2 years older than me. We're super close, Derek, and so grew up very poor, and no dad in the picture. Had massive ADD, ADHD. Had some abuse, and so people that think that, man, I can't overcome this, or I've got these things and I don't know, it's those things that it's okay to think something, but like I say a lot of times, the danger is when we believe it.
Yeah.
Right? So when we start believing that I'm a victim, that I'm this and I'm that, and fortunately I never really did, I think, for whatever reason. And so, but yeah, I mean, growing up in that environment, the blessing in it was that, it sucked then, right? I remember being at the mall and not having money at Jansen Beach, not having money to go back home and with my buddies. And so I would get in, they had this fountain, people would flip coins into.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd go in there, no one's looking, round up a couple bucks and quarters. So like at an early age, I was always out of the box. I was always like creative, like that made me be, when you don't have the money and you have to find a way, it basically just instilled in me at an early age, like playing video games with pennies and all the things I learned. It instilled in me that there's always a way.
Yeah.
There's always a way. And so at an early age, I just thankfully learned that, not knowing that I was learning it, but that, okay, what's the solution? Right?
Yeah.
I ain't walking home.
Yeah.
You gotta
do it. You gotta find a way.
I gotta, like, how can I get $2? How can I get $1?
Yeah.
And when you start asking yourself the right questions, you come up with the right answers.
Yeah. There's something that you said that I kind of want to go back to, that it's not what others say about you, right? And it's TD Jakes. I don't remember the exact thing he says. Yeah, he's great. And he says it's not what others say about you, it's what you say about you that basically poisons you.
Yeah.
That's what holds you back.
Absolutely.
So
and not just what you say about you, but what you believe.
Yeah.
Right? Because we all have thoughts.
Yeah.
Like crazy thoughts that come into our head. And so it's dangerous. It's okay to think thoughts. The danger is believing it.
Yeah.
So when a thought comes in you don't believe, you can, you're aware, right? Like living in consciousness, like awareness. Like, hey, I got this thought, but I don't, how did I get that thought?
Yeah.
Get out of here,
Absolutely.
And just in letting it escape and not believing that that's true about you. That's where the damage gets done.
Yeah. So what point, I mean, you had this upbringing, but what point did you start to go in the opposite direction of you're just like, this is the way I want it to be? What was the first thing that you did?
At an early age, what's funny is, so I have this piece of paper, it's in my office actually, and I have this piece of paper from the 3rd grade, Chief Joseph Elementary, Portland, Oregon, Miss Harrod's class. And it's so funny, so my mom passed in 2010, retired April 1st, 2010, died April 30th, unfortunately, who was like my brother and I's hero. Yeah, thanks, man. And so, but one of the things was going through, memorabilia and things like that, a lot of my old ball cards that she kept, and I found this piece of paper, and I pulled this piece of paper out, and it says on here, what I want to be. We had an assignment in 3rd grade, what I want to be when I grow up. And on this piece of paper, Ruben, I wrote, it said, I want to be a professional baseball player. It was only a paragraph. When I grow up, I'm the best players in the minor leagues. When I grow up, I want to be a professional baseball player, and I want to play for the Pittsburgh Pirates. So coincidentally, got a chance to play some pro ball, and I do, a ton of business out of the Pittsburgh area. I have for like 14 years. So it didn't manifest like exactly like, I wrote it, but that was the trigger for me, like, holy crap, man. I thought of something when I was, 10 years old or whatever, wrote it one time, and literally the power of that I thought of it and wrote it down, that it manifested, not in the exact way, but close enough.
You were guided,
close enough to have like some similarities where it was like, holy cow, man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So that really led me to, thankfully when I was growing up, I had some athletic ability. That led me to playing with my buddies and playing with my friends and getting me out of the streets. I still ran the streets, and like I was the troublemaker. My brother was, the studious, straight A guy.
Yeah.
So he was very book smart. I was very street smart, which, has led us both to a great place in our lives and success, just different paths, right? So, but yeah, I mean, that kind of answer that for you?
Yeah, no, definitely. With you playing ball, right? What happened? Because you were playing ball, then something happened, then you started transitioning to. But tell me more about that. Like,
so I signed. I was a Giants 6th round pick. Their 6th pick in 1991.
When I was born. How crazy is that?
Yeah, when you were born, I know, aging myself. And so I signed. Went through the minor league system. In '95, got a lady pregnant that I was, seeing. Got her pregnant. Son comes along, and for me, that was a big turning point, because not having a dad, I always said, you and I connect, which we'll talk about on that aspect, had a lot of similarities. But not having a dad, I always said, when I have a kid, I want to be there, like, period.
Yeah.
And so when he was born, he had, a little bit of breathing issues. And so, from the cord being around his neck tight. So I would just like, hey, I decided I was going to take a year off and go back, and just never went back. Wow. And yeah, man, life peeled a different path. It's worked out great, and, got a chance to raise him his whole life, Devin, my son, and coach him in all his sports and be at all of his events, and, and just be a mentor to him and guide him as best I can.
Yeah.
And so I got a chance to, be that dad that I didn't have, basically, which was cool.
Quick shout out to Devin and to everyone having kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they really are a blessing, and I mean, you really don't. I mean, you kind of comprehend that until you really have one, that you're just like, wow, this is my whole life now.
Yeah.
It's a whole different level.
Hey, consuming, man.
Yeah, so that's cool. So then right now you're doing like real estate. It seems like real estate is your core fundamental of like who you are. How did you get into that? How did you start going into the real estate side?
Wow, man, it's crazy. So in 2005, I had a friend. I found myself after ball that I really like sales, right? I was really, I love people genuinely, like heartfelt. So I found myself doing good in sales. And so as I started selling like security systems, right? You make $200, you close a deal. And then it was like, well, dang, how can I make more? Well, I can sell more security systems. Then how can I make more? Well, I can sell camera systems, right? Then I kind of capped out on that. It's like, well, what else can I sell? Real estate. Yeah. So this was in 05, 06. My buddies were killing it in the mortgage business. I almost went in the mortgage business. Thank God I didn't, because I would have been out of it in 2 years. But so I went to an event, a real estate event, paid $4,000, Robert Allen and Robert Kiyosaki, and he showed, you know, the cash flow quadrant. And that was it, man. I was hooked, and I started. Had a little money. I found that I could buy stuff a lot cheaper out of state. Now back in 05, I like buying out of state real estate was like having a tattoo. Like back in the day when I was growing up, before you were born. But when I was growing up, Ruben, like you see a guy with a tattoo, man, walking down the street, like, dude, I'm on the other side of the street, right? Like, dude's gonna stab me. Right in the face. And so so it was different. Now tattoos are normal, right? We all got them. And so progressive, right? Like it's normal. Back then in 05, 06, no, buying out of state, people were like, dude, you're freaking crazy. You're buying it, like, not just in another state, like next door, like all the way across the country. So a lot of people were, you know, thought I was nuts. I never, you know, I've always been one that if someone says I can't do something, I like to prove them wrong. That's just me, how I'm wired a little. So I fell upon the Pittsburgh, PA, Cleveland, Ohio region, and I started buying properties there in good areas, really cheap, 5, 10, 15.
And you were here?
And I was actually in, when I first started, I was in Portland, Oregon, shortly moved up to Tacoma, Washington. So I was basically in Tacoma, Washington.
You were on the other side. I would have called you crazy.
I know. You know. Yeah, I was in Tacoma, Washington, selling properties to people that were, say, in California, and the properties were in Pittsburgh, PA. Right? So it was, this crazy dynamic. So from that, I started doing that and, you know, buying my own properties. And then I had friends and family that wanted to get some of their own properties. And I was a little limited on cash at the time. So I was thinking, God, how can I flip these properties to these friends and people that I know, not use my money and but use their money and make the profit. So I came up with a creative way. Right now, wholesaling's big, right? Everyone's saying wholesaling. Back then, it was just called assignments. So the word wholesaling didn't even exist. So I knew about assignments, which is wholesaling, basically getting a property under contract, selling the contract to an investor. I knew about that, but the way I was locking my deals up, I was getting bank deals off the market, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, HUD properties, and you can't assign those. Like you offer in a name, you have to close in that name. You can't assign it, you can't sell the LLC. So I was in a position that, man, I have to figure out how to, I'm stuck at Jancy Beach with no money. I got to figure out how I can get a couple bucks to get home, right? Like that same scenario. So where's the fountain, right? I gotta find a fountain. So I came up with a way to basically flip the properties, not use my own money, and it worked. And that was really the turning point. That was in 06. And then since then, I've done over 3,000 deals this way. And then about 2 years ago, I had known no one was doing their deals this way. I created my own way to do these flips. So about 2 years ago, I started teaching it. I created my own signature program called Flipping on Demand, and I started teaching this and sharing it with people exactly how they can flip properties, not use their money, make, you know, 20 to 40 grand, 10 grand, 15, whatever, but have their money in 2 to 3 days. Like not wait a month, 2 months, 6 months, and that took off, and that's really what I love now is helping people that never like heard of this or didn't even know this was something that existed. They could do deals this way or make money this way. and we have, now it's like so many testimonials, and every day we're helping someone else, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah, it's the problem you described is my favorite kind of problem, but for me, it's when I see a problem that's kind of like you said, where's the fountain?
Yeah.
I always think like, what's the solution? Because I know there is one, and no matter how complex or different it is, that you can solve it. It's just there. It's just somebody is almost like trying to, like with the banks, that they wanted it to close in a certain name.
Yeah.
They were preventing you, and you're just like, I can get around it.
Exactly.
Just wait. But I know I'm going to do it. But I like what you did, but it's not going to work.
A life hack.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the hack here?
Yeah, exactly. So that's always been kind of nice. But so you like you said, you have all these people now that you've been helping, and you have testimonials, and you've really blown it up. You've become very successful. And the other day on Instagram, you went kind of like on this thing where you were talking about how it was almost like draining you, that people were coming and all they were doing is just wanting you to do something for them, right? Like they were like, hey man, can you do this for me and this? And they wanted you to give. They were taking from you, but they didn't want to give anything, in return. And so when did you in your career notice that started happening for you? That people just wanted.
I think in that post I was really talking about just everybody, right? It was like this person, oh, can you do this, or a family member asking this, or a friend saying, can you help me with this, and it was like this weird week, man, where it was so much, like, hey DJ, can you help me with this? Hey, can you do this for me? Hey, what about this? Or hey, we didn't talk, and you're supposed to call me. And I was like, God dang, man, like everybody, it was just this like awareness that where it's like, wow, man, it's really true what I teach, because I teach people like go to people and serve them, and do something for them, right? And be a servant's help, right? Like serve people, and from that's how things start opening up and opportunities come into your life. And it's basically so essentially, like to share with you on that, we live in this world where people aren't aware. Like they just go through their day, but when they stop and they go, damn, you know what? I gotta, like, why am I always asking people for something? If I were to tell people, stop right now and ask yourself, are you doing more for others? Or are you always asking people for something?
Yeah.
Or expecting something from someone, right?
That was going to be my follow-up question. Is like, if somebody is starting off right now, right, and they're looking for help, whether it be like a mentorship or just how to start, what would you tell them to do in reaching out to someone like you that's successful, if they wanted something like that, like help or whatever they're looking for? What would you say to them?
Well, I would say, first of all, like, after 50, being 48 now, almost 50, and through not just real estate, doing tons of deals and navigating waters and having crazy stuff happen, and right, but not just do I have the experience and knowledge, but man, people they got to get a mentor, right? Period. Like, anyone that's listening to this, like, if you don't have a mentor, you're just, people, it's ego, right? It's like, I got it, I can go on YouTube and figure it out. Like, no, and I would ask people, how's that working for you?
Yeah.
Right? Because the short way to your goals is to find somebody that's doing what you want, achieve what you want to achieve, and connect with them if you can, and basically have them show you how to do it. Right? That's the shortest way to your goals. Now, if people don't want this, some people that don't, for whatever reason, like, I'll figure it out. Maybe they're a strong woman and they've went through a rocky relationship, and now they're so independent that they want to, or they're a guy that has an ego and he doesn't. And my advice to that is, like, it's just not your fastest way. Like, if you want to do it that way, do it that way. But it's absolutely the long route.
It's going to slow you down.
It's going to slow you down. Yeah. And in this life, time is the one thing we can't get back.
Exactly.
It's the only thing. So if you can compress your time and say, hey, if I can learn something that would take me 10 years in 10 weeks or whatever, right?
You bought time. Yeah,
you just bought so much time back into your life, and that's why you need a mentor. They can compress the time, compress your learning curve, and get you to where you want to get to faster.
Yeah. You know what's funny is for me, it took a while to find a mentor, and I always wanted one, but it took me about 6-7 years to find one from the initial start date. And I would do a lot of Audible books and YouTube and all that stuff, and I would look on Yelp and Google, and it wasn't until I took the step to go to the Impact Players Tour, and Daniel Fleischman, Grant Cardone's guy, called me, and it was on a Saturday, and I was like, dude, okay, this is Grant Cardone's guy, he better sell me like a Grant Cardone guy. And he totally did. But it was a lot of money that I didn't have, but I don't regret spending it to this day. It's only been about 2 months that I've had him. And he has done more for me, like you said, and projected me in these 2 months way faster than I did in those 7 years. If I had him 7 years ago, I would be where I was right now 7 years ago.
Yeah.
But
because you only know what you know.
Exactly. And you have that accountability, and you have somebody who says like, no, this is exactly what it is. You don't have to guess yourself, because you may hear something, recorded or something, but you don't have somebody telling you, well, is this really the truth? And they go, yes, idiot, this is the truth. Just go do it. Instead of you questioning over and over that same thing.
Yeah.
So, but
and so many people. I heard Gary Vee say this, and it's so me, right? He said, so many people they don't want to fail, right? And this is because here's the thing: we're taught when we're in school, you get an F, you're getting an ass kicking, right? Can I swear on here?
I haven't, but this is the second one, so this one's gonna be this one's gonna. So you're good.
So I won't say anything worse than that. Yeah. But you're getting beat, right? Like you're getting in trouble, you're getting a whooping. Or you're like an F in school, failing is bad.
Yeah.
Right? But it's not in life. In life, it is one of the greatest things you can have happen, because that's how you learn and you grow from it, right? So we're programmed when we're young, don't fail.
Yeah.
So that we, as we grow and we get older, we're scared to shoot the ball. Yeah. Right? We're scared to swing the bat. And the reality is that I would rather, be 150.
Yeah.
I'd rather be 150 to 105. Right? I would rather shoot 300 times and make 150 and maybe miss 150 than while someone else is still analyzing, even taking a chance or taking a shot, right? So I think the faster you get in the habit of just jumping instead of over analyzing stuff. Hey, I'm gonna buy this. Hey, I'm gonna join this program. Hey, I need this in my life. The more that you do that, it's actually an amazing thing to do, because what you'll realize is you're going to win so much faster. Yeah. You're going to achieve so many more wins because you might have some that don't work out, but like even with Gary Vaynerchuk, right? Like everyone goes, oh, Instagram and Facebook and all this. Well, shoot, a Vidler and all these other things that he was into that paid time to and attention didn't work. Vero or some different things, right?
That was a cool one. I like that one.
I did
really
too.
Sad that I
I like Vine, man. I like Vine myself.
Yeah.
But so I think that that fear of it's sad because it keeps people from really going for their dreams. Yeah. And that are achievable, by the way, that are easily achievable. Yeah. And it's sad because I see this all the time is. People overanalyze. Well, I want to do it, but I don't have any money. Well, how old are you? 52. Okay, so so what you've done for 52 years hasn't worked, and you're going to continue to do the same thing. So
but it also goes back to what we kind of said already. Is like you're going to have a problem, and you have to get creative with it one way or another. You do. It doesn't matter if you don't have the solution or if you haven't had it for 52 years. You're just gonna have to. Okay, well here's the problem, and where do I find the fountain?
Yeah.
So everything's gonna be an excuse. Going back to like the failure thing, what I heard and that I've adopted is fail fast, fail often.
Yeah.
Right? Do you have something like that you can kind of
Hey,
like a
listen.
little snippet?
Yeah, I don't like failing. Like a lot of people say, go and try to fail.
Yeah.
Screw that, man. Like I do not like to fail.
I hate losing.
I
Do
hate
you love
losing.
winning or hate
Dude,
losing?
I would say
If you had to pick one, because I know it's a hard question.
I would say I like winning more.
I hate losing. And it's funny, I did a poll. I had like 40 people answer. No, it didn't matter if you were a woman or man or age or anything. Half and half. Isn't that hilarious?
And either one, right? Either one is a positive, because how we do things is based on emotion. Yeah. So if I love winning, right, then I'm driving towards that win. If I hate losing, then and both of them are achieve the same thing.
Exactly.
And so
I think that's why it's probably 50-50, because it's the same thing at the end of the day, you know.
It drives the same emotion, which is like I hate losing so bad that I want to win. I'll just keep going until I win. And if you love winning, right, then the losing won't really affect you. And I think that the fear you asked me about, you know, the fear, so many things that we think, you know, we play in our head, like the outcomes that will probably never happen. Yeah. They'll never occur. And personally, man, people say, like in sports, don't let the highs get too high or the lows get too low. Yeah. Right? That's a huge key. But what I say, and what I found to be true, which is a really interesting thing, I shared this the other day, and Scott, I never heard it put that way, is I like to start my morning in a happy vibration. Yeah. And just try to carry it through the day. Yeah. So this happens, no big deal. I'm still happy. Yeah. This happens, this person says this, they do that, you get a hater, whatever it is, you stay happy. Positivity. Right? Yeah. So because I think, like, I look at it this way, being like not too high, not too low, I would rather be high. Yeah. Right? And be high all day and not be low. And so I would rather operate at an 8 or a 9, not dip below a 6. Mm-hmm. Like 6 will be like my bottom rung, as opposed to operating at a 5 and going to 6 and 4. Yeah. You know, and just being like you're not living, you're not fired up about life. So I'm an advocate on getting happy, getting in your best, happiest state in the morning, and just trying to carry that vibe through the day, man.
Absolutely. So we're gonna start wrapping up a little bit. Dude, 30 minutes. I honestly, every time I do these, I'm like, man, 30 minutes. I've already gone by. But no. So the thing that I've always really appreciated you since the first time, you know, like I really like. I mean, for this podcast, you're a hunter, you're a killer. Like the whole point of this. When I saw you on the stage, I mean, you went out there and you danced when no one else did. Everybody else was just, hi, how are you? You did something different. You had to stand out, you know. And I'm sure you have other goals, but when you were on stage, you said something that kind of resonated with me, right? And that was that, you know, our fathers, when we were growing up, they would promise to pick us up, and we would wait for them while we were. We were 3 years old when we finally stopped, right? I was a little older, but they would tell us they were gonna. It's one of the things that you look forward to the most. That, you know, you're waiting for them, and then they just say we're not coming or whatever it may be. It's still tender for me, you know. I don't know about you, but like, how do you think that like affected you? And if there's somebody that's going through that right now and has anger and resentment, what would you tell them?
Oh man, I mean, I think it I think it affected me in a way of in all my relationships. Yeah, you know, I really do. That the feeling of abandonment, like you know, I'm not good enough, or why doesn't somebody love me, and if someone get too close, then I would go away. So I think it definitely, because you know, back then we weren't taught what was going on. No one told us like, hey, this is why you're feeling this way, right? Yeah. So whereas now it's more in that way. So I think that first thing, anyone that's going through that is recognize it's not you, it's them. Yeah. Right? It's not your fault. If you're a child or anybody, a husband, a wife, it's not you, it's them. Yeah. Right? And so you can only control what you can control, which is something that I have come to realize. Yeah. So if someone else does something to you, it doesn't mean that you know, you're a bad person or you're a bad kid or that, you know, you're a bad person.
Yeah.
It's just they have some crap in them that is off that they have to get right. Unfortunately, it's coming out towards you, right? Or the neglect towards you as being a child or whatever. So I think that, you know, anyone that's going through this, just realize that, hey, it's not your fault, it's not you, and the absolute best thing you can do, whether you tell them or you don't, is to really in your heart forgive them and understand, like, hey, it's not me. I'm gonna love them and pray for them and wish the best for them, and realize that it's not me and it's not my fault. And I'm just gonna wish good on them, because what happens is whenever you're holding hate towards somebody, you're holding hate. And so it's easier to hate other people, and that anger comes out in misdirected forms, fighting. You know, I'm pissed off. I get angry super fast, which I did when I was young. Man, I had a quick fuse. So that probably had a lot to do with it, right? And but yeah, just to realize it's not their fault. And what about you? How did that affect you?
Well, it's same way. Like I have always had a hard time with like the shame of like abandonment. And I felt like I wasn't good enough. But it's kind of like you said, you forgive and you have to let go eventually. And it doesn't define you. That's the one thing that, you know, I kind of wanted to end it lighter, even though it is just because that's what brought us together. But at the end of the day, it doesn't define you. Look at kind of where you are at right now, and you were able to accomplish so much because that wasn't the moment that said like, this is who DJ is. You know, DJ isn't the person that had this and the emotional baggage, and you are that person. You kind of just kept moving forward. And I did the same thing, and that's the thing, is that like the past doesn't define you. What you do today defines you, and what you're choosing to do every single day, because the next day hasn't come and the past already happened. So if you want to change your circumstances, it's only what you do in today's moment.
And you gotta, and I think one thing to end on that people can really take and get value from. You have to, you know, vision board. I'm big on vision board. I'm big on writing out a perfect day. So when you create a vision board, that's your perfect version of you in every area, financially, emotionally, the cars you want, the house you want, the wife you want, the husband you want, how fit you want to be. That's the perfect version. That's your best you. Then you write out a perfect day that aligns with that vision board, right? And this is the perfect day that if I wake up every day and live my perfect life, this would be my exact day from wake to go to sleep. Then what you do is you create routines around that life. So that person in that perfect day and on that vision board, what time would they wake up? Okay, they'd wake up this time. What would they do when they wake up? They would work out. What would they do after they work out? They would meditate. So you create a routine, right? That aligns, because it's all about alignment. This is why we're all like screwed up a little, is we get out of alignment. But then you create a routine, a daily routine that aligns and fits that person on the vision board, your best version of you. And then not just a routine, but you start putting habits in place. What would this person listen to? Podcasts, positive stuff. Who would they hang around? Positive people and winners, not bitches, whiners, complainers, negative Nellies, right? So then you start literally acting as if you're already this person. By doing these things, who would they be friends with? Form your friends around the kind of people that they would be friends with. So basically you're forecasting your best version of you into the future and creating an alignment, and that will allow your vision and your reality to come true way faster than if you don't do it. So
no, thank you for sharing that. So if you guys are interested in seeing DJ live and seeing what he's all about, make sure you check out November 10th at the Wiltern Theater, Los Angeles, California. I think the doors open at 8. But Joe Gonzalez, big shout out to Joe for creating Impact Players Tour, putting it on. People can go to impactplayerstour.com. There you go. To get tickets. If they want to follow me, they can go to my Instagram is probably the best. My Facebook is great. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on all of them. So LinkedIn, DJ Thielen,
Facebook, DJ Thielen, DJ Thielen, and my Instagram is D.J. Thielen, Thielen.
Yeah.
And people can connect with me on the social.
I highly recommend you guys go to this event, go and meet DJ, and leave us a review. Let us know what you think. Okay?
Absolutely. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
All
so
right.
that's it. Hope to see you next time, and we'll see you for episode 5.